Hip, hip, hooray for DNA. It provides the key to the plans for making everything in you and me.
Welcome to the past HSC exam question video. In this video we're going to cover past HSC multiple choice questions from the Mendel and inheritance chapter. It's going to be about 10 questions all up. While doing a second, I'll read the question itself. Once you read the question, you get about 5 seconds to pause the video. Once you've paused the video, attend the question and press play when you're ready. The first question is, a researcher prepared a pedigree, family tree, to trace a genetic disorder in a family. How could the gene that causes the condition be best be described? A, codominant, B, dominant, C, recessive, or D, sex-linked? Pause the video and attempt the question. Welcome back. The answer is B. The reason why D is false, if we're sex-linked, then the girl itself will most definitely be also affected if both the parents are affected. If it's recessive, that means that if they are both recessive, then also both the offspring would be affected. In this case, this one's not affected. If it's codominant, again, it has nothing to do with codominance. And B is correct because it's dominant. So these have the dominant one. And then we have something which was creeped in, which wasn't in the parents because it was recessive. So it's the actual disorder is codominant, but she doesn't have it because she got the recessive genes from both the parents. They were heterozygous. Next question is, in a variety of garden peas, the allele for T plants, tall plants, capital T, is dominant over the allele for short plants, small t. A cross between a tall plant and a short plant resulted in 50% of the offspring being short. What were the genotypes of their parents? Capital T small t and two small t's, capital T small t and capital T small t, capital T and capital T and capital T and small t, capital T and small t and small t. Again, pause the video and attempt the question. Welcome back. The correct answer for this one is capital T small t and two small t's. The reason why is because if we have this cross, so we have a heterozygous and a homozygous short, we get 2 being homozygous short and 2 being heterozygous tall. So therefore we have 50% of them being short. So A is correct and the other ones were false. Next question is this one. Which of the following best describes the process of hybridization frequently used in agriculture? A, the transfer of a gene from one species to another. B, the crossing of 2 genetically different strains of a species. C, the production of a genetically identical offspring by cloning. Or D, the artificial selection and breeding of suitable offspring within a species. And pause the video and attempt the question. Welcome back. The correct answer for this one is D. The reason why A was wrong, A is transgenic species, nothing to do with hybridization. The crossing over of 2 genetically different strains of a species, again, that is not to do with hybridization used in agriculture. The production of genetically identical offspring by cloning. Cloning, again, is not the same as hybridization. The reason why this is right is because artificial selection and breeding of suitable offspring within a species. So where we take two species, which are similar but have the ideal characteristics. So ideal here and ideal here that we want, and then the actual new offspring of those two will have the perfect combination of traits. And the way we achieve that is by having the artificial selection of those species that we start with. So D was correct. Next one, in rabbits, black, capital B coat color is dominant over white, small b coat color. Which Punnett square correctly represents a cross between a rabbit heterozygous for coat color and a white rabbit? We have these examples here. Pause the video and attempt the question. Welcome back. The correct answer for this one is C. It says we have one must have white color and it must have 2 small b's. We've got 2 small b's here and here, but we don't have them here, so A is definitely wrong. and it says one has to be a heterozygous. So one is heterozygous, and that means small b and big B. This is homozygous, so this is false. So B is false, and it's either C or D. The reason why D was false is because they actually made a mistake in their Punnett squares. So these would not be the actual usual combinations. Sorry, these here, the other two. If we have a small b and a small b, we don't get a big B and a big B. So this is wrong and this is wrong. Whereas here they got it correct. So C is correct. The other ones were all wrong. Next question. Gregor Mendel describes the physical traits in pea plants as being controlled by two factors. What term is now used to describe the factors Mendel identified? A. Chromosomes, B. Genes, C. Hybrids, D. Polypeptides. When ready, pause the video and attempt the question. Welcome back. The correct answer is B. Genes. Polypeptides were wrong because polypeptides are being produced by genes. They weren't the things that were coding for the actual factors. So the factors were the genes which were coded for polypeptides. Hybrids is that's just completely wrong. And A is also wrong because chromosomes are important when it comes to inheritance, but the chromosomes actually hold all the genes. So chromosomes are connected with the factors, but the chromosomes hold these factors, and the factors themselves are the genes. So genes is correct. Current reproductive technologies can be used to alter the genetic composition of a population. Some of these methods were also used in the 19th century by Gregor Mendel. How did Mendel use reproductive techniques in his experiment? He artificially Polycystic kidney disease is a rare disease affecting 1 in 1,250 live-born infants. The pedigree shows the incidence of this disease in the family. This is the incidence. This means affected male, unaffected female, affected female, and unaffected male. So white is unaffected and brown or gray is affected. Which of the following statements best describes the mechanism of inheritance of this disorder? A. Sex-linked and dominant. B. Sex-linked and recessive. C. Non-sex-linked and dominant. D. Non-sex-linked and recessive. Pause the video and attempt the question. Welcome back. We know it's actually not sex-linked, and the way we know that is because here, what happens here is we have the female and the male, producing male offspring which are unaffected, and that were not possible if it were sex-linked. They would have to be affected. So it's definitely not sex-linked, and it's also not recessive. The reason why is because here we have the same two affected pairs having babies, and the babies themselves, the offspring, don't have the disease. If these were recessive, they both have the recessive ones, and these ones would also have it. But because they don't have it, the condition itself must be dominant. So C is correct. C is correct, and D is false. Next one is, why was the importance of Mendel's work not widely accepted until some time after he completed experiments? A. Mendel did not realize the importance of his own work. B. Mendel did not repeat his experiments, so they were not seen as important by other scientists. C. Mendel published his results in local scientific publications, not assessed by many biologists. D. Mendel's description of sex linkage to explain his results were not understood by other biologists. When you're ready, pause the video. Welcome back. The correct answer for this one is C. Mendel did not realize the importance of his work. No, that was wrong. He knew what was happening. He didn't know all the details, but he knew it was important. Mendel did not repeat his experiments many times. That's also false. He made many different experiments and he repeated it many times. Mendel's description of sex linkage to explain his results were not understood. He didn't talk about sex linkage. That was Morgan. Mendel didn't do that, so D is also false. So C is correct. Next, in humans, brown eye color is dominant and blue eye color is recessive. A brown-eyed boy and a blue-eyed girl have a blue-eyed mother. What eye color does the father have? A. Brown, because the genes for eye color is sex-linked. B. Brown, because at least one of the parents must have brown eyes. C. Blue, because at least two other members of the family have blue eyes. D. Blue, because at least one of the parents must be heterozygous for the eye color. When ready, pause the video and attempt the question. Welcome back. The correct answer is brown. So it's brown because the eye because at least one of the parents must have brown eyes. And we can see this here. This is our Punnett square. This is the father who has brown eyes. This is the mother with blue eyes. And this combination allows us to produce both brown-eyed individuals and blue-eyed individuals. And that's the case with the family that has a brown-eyed boy and a blue-eyed girl. So it has to have both blue and brown. And the only way that's possible is if the father has brown eyes. And the reason why is because at least one of the parents must have brown eyes. So B is correct and the other ones were all false. Next is a pedigree is shown. This is our pedigree. What type of inheritance is shown in the pedigree? Sex-linked recessive, sex-linked dominant, non-sex-linked recessive, non-sex-linked dominant. When you're ready, attempt the question. Welcome back. The correct answer for this one is non-sex-linked and it's dominant. The reason why it's dominant is because here we have someone who doesn't have it, whereas both the parents have it. The only way that's possible is if the actual problem itself is the affected thing is dominant, which means this has the recessive genes, which are not the disorder. And it's non-sex linked, and the reason why we know that is because there are quite a few girls who have it, even though that shouldn't be the case if it were sex linked. The next question is, if the family tree shows the inheritance of a genetic characteristic. This is the family tree, with the grandparents, the parents, and children. And we've got parent A and parent B, making 2 children. The question is, what is the probability that the daughter of parents A and B will be affected? A 0%, B 25%, C 50%, or D 100%. Ready? Pause the question and attempt the video. When you're ready, pause the video and attempt the question. Welcome back. The answer for this is number 25%. So how I got to 25% was because this female is affected. We know the condition itself must be recessive. Up here, this female didn't have it, whereas this female did have it, so it must be recessive. There must be she must have 2 of the recessive that give her this affected trait. So we know the condition is recessive. And we know it's not sex-linked, so it's non-sex-linked. Non-sex-linked. Because if it were sex-linked, if this girl here had 2 of the recessive ones, and this boy here had a non-recessive and a Y, then to make that boy here, you get the Y from the boy and the R from the girl. So if this were the case, if it were recessive, so he should be, if it were a sex-linked condition, this boy should also have the condition. Since he doesn't have the condition, we can figure it's non-sex-linked. So we know it's non-sex-linked and we know it's recessive. And now we can use that to figure out what's going on here. So we know this boy here must have 2 recessive alleles, one from A, one from B, but parent A and parent B are both non-affected, which means they must be heterozygous for the condition. So if we use this Punnett square, we have this means non-affected, N for non-affected, small n for affected. They're heterozygous, both of them. And if we do the Punnett square, these 3 are non-affected, and the 4th one would be affected. So it's a ratio of 3 to 1. And that 3 to 1 is the same as that 1 having a 25% chance of it being taking place. So that's why B is correct, a 25% chance, and the other ones were all wrong. But I hope that was useful.
Thank you for watching.